On this week's show, we join Michelle Fontaine as she visits a unique stop right off the highway, or should we say over the highway, in Nebraska called Great Platte River Road Archway. It's well worth the stop. Then, Jeff Johnson gives us a good practical look at the Coachman Freedom Express toy hauler trailer as he takes it out for a fun weekend adventure. Also, this week we start a new multiple episode series with Mark and Don Polk from RV Education 101 and follow them through the custom build of their older Ram 4x4 van into a modern style adventure camper van. Warning, after watching this series, you may get the itch to start building your own. Later, we catch up with Jeff and Pam in California as they enjoy the sheer beauty of the Calaveras Big Tree State Park. Closed and Spanish captioning, where available, is sponsored by Forest River. Follow the river.
Do you ever find yourself wanting to travel a few hundred miles in one day and wishing there were a cool place that's easy on-off the highway to break up that long day? Hi, I'm Michelle Fontaine, and if you're traveling on Interstate 80 through Nebraska, I've got the perfect spot for you. The Great Platte River Road Archway Monument is the first and only museum to straddle a U.S. interstate highway. The Archway's parking lot was designed with large pull-through spaces. Exit 275 is an easy off-ramp. And while the interactive museum is the highlight of this area and charges a reasonable ticket charge, there are many free amenities as well. There's a 10-mile paved bike and hiking path. There's a very nice picnicking pavilion and many outside exhibits to enjoy. You can even fish and kayak in their pond. The Archway tells the story of pioneers, innovators, and adventurers who built America. The Archway is the vision of Governor Morrison, and the initial plans for the monument were unveiled August 28, 1996. The engineers in charge of building the Archway were faced with the challenge of erecting a 1,500-ton structure that would eventually be suspended above one of the most heavily traveled highways in the Midwest, and doing it in a way that would not impede the regular flow of traffic. How's that for a challenge? Let me show you a bit of the inside of this entertaining museum.
Welcome to the Archway. Welcome to the Archway.
This is a self-guided tour, so you can take as long as you want, and I spotted several children who seemed really quite absorbed in these narratives. The Archway's exhibits include 21 life-sized characters that are actually cast human figures. In a process similar to making dental molds, entire figures of real people who match the exhibit designer's vision were cast to provide a level of realism that can't be achieved using mannequins. The figures are surrounded by murals depicting the Oregon Trail, the Lincoln Highway, and the night scene on the Transcontinental Railroad. The Oregon Trail was an early American wagon route, roughly 2,000 miles from Independence, Missouri to Oregon Junction, Oregon. This arduous and dangerous passageway was used by hundreds of thousands of American pioneers. As the Western migration scenes end, we're welcomed onto the Lincoln Highway, known as the Main Street of America. As we move into this area, it feels more like modern nostalgia. For some, to our parents or our grandparents, and to the youngsters' great-grandparents. I hate to age myself, but I can remember drive-in movies. Can you? The mural in the diner was painted by Kenneth B. Gore and provides a summary of the 180 years of history shown in the Archway. Many of the faces of the people in the mural are said to be those of craftsmen who worked on the Archway's building and exhibits. While you're in the diner, You'll most certainly be drawn to the window, which shows the current traffic on Route 80 underneath you. As we head down the escalator, there's more history to be discovered, but we'll let you discover that. There's also a very well-stocked gift store, and I was able to find some pretty unique gifts for my grandkids. So as you can see, there's enough entertainment and relaxation for an hour or half a day.
When Thetford launched Aquachem, it didn't take long before it became the #1 selling holding tank treatment for over 50 years. Until now. Meet Aquamax, Thetford's new generation of holding tank products that works even better and are also campground friendly and environmentally safe. Looks like a new #1 is taking over. For more information, visit thetford.com. Want more RVing today? Then visit rvingtoday.tv. Besides our weekly show and extended segments, you'll find additional stories and videos along with insightful information on what's new and what's happening around the world in RVing. From luxury RVs to unique camper vans, and from RVing with pets to RVing with kids. You'll find it all and more in rvingtoday.tv.
Toy hauler trailers are extremely popular today, and the Coachman Freedom Express we tested with the Ram 3500 truck is a good example of that RV type. The Ram did its expected good job of hauling the trailer to Riley Ranch County Park. ParkSense Rear Park Assist helps when solo, but towing, you'll want to shut it off to avoid hearing the alarm when backing up with the trailer. These new trucks have a lot of really fun features. But one thing about today's modern pickups that I'm really a little bit puzzled about, and all the manufacturers are doing it, they're making the beds higher and higher. Now I'm about 6'6", and if I have something I want to put in the bed, like firewood, it's a reach over for someone my size. Now if you happen to be a normal size adult, a little bit shorter, this can be quite a chore. Fortunately, this particular Coachman trailer has a solution to that. We have a really cool metal rack up here directly above the batteries. That's a cargo rack. It can be used to put a generator on there, just about anything. As you can see, we have it piled up with our campfire wood for the night. It's a nice feature. More trailers ought to have this. The forward cargo rack makes good use of the open space above the trailer batteries. The new Freedom Express Blast from Coachman Industries. Coachman, of course, is a name that we've known for a long time in the RV industry. A lot of our parents, maybe even grandparents, use Coachman products. This is the Model 283BL toy hauler. Everything from approximately this point back is all garage, and we'll show you more details about that when we get inside. Out here, you have smooth fiberglass sidewalls and Alumicage construction, meaning the walls and ceiling are all framed with aluminum, and it has Asdel composite underneath the exterior skin, which is part of what gives it its certified green compliance by TRA certification. And that's kind of a nice thing to have today. The axles are spaced out a little bit. This is to apparently increase stability and such when you're driving. We towed this thing and boy, it just followed along behind the truck like a dream. Now up here, the solar panel you see by Go Power, it's a 120 watt unit. This is optional. Now the only exterior storage they have on this unit is up front, but it goes all the way through and it's a really good sized compartment. So there's a lot of long things that you can stash in here. And there's also a convenient tray that's strong enough to support something like a generator. We used it for a pile of firewood. That is a really neat item which helps to keep the dirty stuff out of your vehicle and out of the inside of the trailer, especially if you have critters like the giant spider that my wife found on one of the pieces of wood and decided she had loaded enough pieces of wood for the day. I finished that little job. The front also has a power jack, which takes a lot of the work out of it. Around on the other side, we have the appliance connections and so on. Let's take a look at them. As per usual practice, all of the trailer utility connections are grouped on the driver's side. The garage door loading ramp unlatches easily and can be opened or closed by one reasonably able-bodied person. Coil springs on the ramp hinge provide most of the needed weight support. This Model 283BL has a lot of your typical toy hauler features. Number one, the garage comes right up to this point approximately, so the back of the stove and the back of the refrigerator cabinet, it's living up front and it's garage out back, and living, but we'll look at that in a minute. Up front, we have a conventional queen-size RV walk-around bed. There are shirt wardrobes on either side, storage overhead, and a pair of really bright overhead LED reading lights available. Plus plenty of plug-ins and of course USB connections. It's a split bath arrangement on either side of the hall. On the driver's side, you have the toilet and shower facility. Over here on the passenger side, you have an overhead cabinet with a mirror so you can get beautified after your ride. The sink, good size sink actually, little storage cubby for your toiletries and more storage underneath. All very conveniently located. Over here on the curb side, you got a good size refrigerator, lots of room. There's a little bit of storage overhead. The furnace is down underneath. Now over here in the kitchen area, boy, this is really nicely done for even enthusiastic cooks. You got a really large single bowl sink. That's the kind of big sink that RVers have been asking about for a long time, with a faucet that sticks out far enough that you can get things under it to clean them. The stove is a Furrion 3-burner with oven, which is kind of handy. Convenient flip-fold glass top that works well. Furrion microwave oven overhead, and an interesting variety of storage places. You got enclosed cabinets with these almost retro-looking stained glass or glass finish doors, and overhead cubby holes with these elastic securement nets. There's a bar stool height dinette table curbside with a great window view that folds away when not in use. With the sofa beds folded flat, there's maximum storage space in the garage. Fold the seats up and lower them, and you have lots of seating space for guests. Flip the seat backs over and they make into a queen-size bed. The Lippert power mechanism lowers the main bed from the ceiling, and you also have the large lower bed available. Coachman and Lippert seriously need to supply a printed instruction manual for these operations. And when you have more people to eat than just the two that would sit at the little dinette table, you have this cool little portable table that stores in a slot in the storage compartment up front. And that becomes your additional dining space. The Ram 3500 and Coachman toy hauler are an effective combination. We enjoyed our time with the trailer and truck. We think you would too. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you to our friends at Garrity RV in Junction City, Oregon for use of this trailer. To learn more about the Ram truck or Coachman Freedom Express trailer, log on to our website.
From off-the-road adventure camping to luxurious full-time RVing and everything in between, Forest River has the RV to fit your needs, budget, and outdoor lifestyle. To see our full line of trailers and motorhomes, visit forestriverinc.com. Forest River. Begin the journey. At Norcol, we realize that some of your favorite RV destinations are off the grid. And Norcol refrigerators are uniquely designed with that RV experience in mind. We call it Freedom Unplugged. To learn more about our Norcol RV refrigerator line or to find a dealer near you, visit our website at norcol.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Polk with RV Education 101. We're starting an exciting project today. When we want to go camping with all the comforts of home, we take our 35-foot Type A motorhome. Now, with the popularity of van camping, we decided to renovate an old van into a modern-day off-road weekend getaway camper van. When I was young, these vans were extremely popular. They were called street vans in the 70s and 80s, and they were customized with shag carpeting, captain seats, loud stereos, a bed, and a custom paint job.
Mark told me when he was a teenager, him and a friend would drive about 30 miles to a Dodge dealership to look at all the vans and dream about owning one. I guess after 40-some years, the dream is coming true.
Today, people look for the taller vans like a Sprinter or a Ford Transit or a Ram ProMaster to convert for camping, but a used one with more than 200,000 miles will cost you $20,000 to $25,000 or more. For our project, I located and bought what I think is the perfect van for the renovation project. It's a 1978 Dodge B200 van. The B200 designation means it's a 3/4 ton as opposed to a half ton. It has a 360 V8 engine and a 727 automatic transmission. What sets this van apart from most vans is its four-wheel drive. In 1978 and 79, Dodge sent roughly 700 new vans to the motorhome division of Champion Homes to convert them to four-wheel drive. They were called Wranglers. This is one of a very few remaining in existence today.
I told Mark if we were going to do this project, the van has to have a bed, a place to cook, some way to use the bathroom, running water, an outside shower, heat, and AC. He said he can make that happen, so we'll see.
The seller was asking $7,000 for the van. After I pointed out some problems with the van and after some negotiation, I bought it for $4,500. It didn't run at the time, so I took a trailer, loaded the van up, and brought it back to my shop. Our plan is to take this old 1978 van and renovate it into our vision of a modern-day off-road camper van. The first step was to make sure the van is mechanically safe and sound. Then we will renovate the interior by adding wall, ceiling, and floor coverings. We will build a bed, add counter and storage space, upgrade the seating, add hot and cold running water, 12-volt and 120-volt electricity, and solar power. On the exterior, I will repair the rust, add an old-school windshield visor, fabricate a rear storage tray to hold a generator, fabricate a front bumper with a winch, add new wheels and tires, do the body work, and finish everything off with a new paint job.
We always name our projects, like the trailer we restored is the Old Yellowstone, the Dodge Power Wagon that Mark did is Project Semi-Hemi, and a project that Tyler and Mark completed together is HD Comanche. So, we are officially dubbing this the Ram Camp Project. Settle in and enjoy our van camper renovation series.
When I got the van back to my shop, I did an inventory to see what I was up against mechanically. The van did not run, wiring was disconnected and hanging under the dashboard, the steering column and ignition switch in the van did not work, but there was another U steering column inside the van. The switches on the dashboard were broken and missing, and after connecting a battery, nothing on the dashboard was operating properly. Under the hood, I immediately had concerns about the radiator, the coolant hoses, the electronic control unit or ECU, the voltage regulator, and other components. The van needed a thorough inspection to identify all the mechanical issues that needed attention, but for now, my concern was to get the van running and find out if there are any other major problems. I painted the U steering column, installed a new ignition switch in it, and installed the steering column on the van so I could try to start it. Then I checked the gas tank for old gas and for any rust or other issues. Fortunately, someone drained the gas tank while it was in storage, and it looked to be in decent condition. Then I replaced the spark plugs, the distributor cap and rotor, and the plug wires. The oil in the engine looked clean, and it was at the full mark on the dipstick. I added some antifreeze to the radiator, and I put 5 gallons of fresh gas in the gas tank, and then I attempted to start the van. It didn't start using the key, so I jumped in at the starter to turn the engine over. When the engine still did not start, I inspected the ignition system and discovered the worst looking electronic control unit I've ever seen. I replaced the ECU and tried starting the engine again. The engine started, but I noticed blue smoke coming out of the exhaust. I let the engine run a while to see if it would clear up, but I continued to see bluish gray smoke coming from the tailpipe. Blue smoke coming from the exhaust can be caused by bad valve stem seals. It can be a fuel-related problem or by oil getting past the oil rings on the pistons. At this point, the best case scenario and least expensive option is for me to remove and repair the heads, and I hope that fixes the issue. So the decision was made to remove the heads from the engine. On a van, you have access to the engine from the interior. I removed the exhaust manifolds, the distributor, the intake manifold, and then the heads, and I dropped them off at the machine shop to be repaired. If this isn't the problem, I have a rebuilt engine I never used that will work in the van, but I really don't want to replace the engine if I don't have to. Coming up on the next episode, we'll show you how to lay out and rough in your 12-volt and 120-volt wiring and plumbing.
You can watch the full extended video of this Ram camper van build on our website at rvingtoday.tv. Want more RVing Today? Then visit rvingtoday.tv. Besides our weekly show and extended segments, you'll find additional stories and videos along with insightful information on what's new and what's happening around the world in RVing. From luxury RVs to unique camper vans, and from RVing with pets to RVing with kids. You'll find it all and more in rvingtoday.tv. When Bedford launched AquaChem, it didn't take long before it became the #1 selling holding tank treatment for over 50 years. Until now. Meet AquaMax, Thetford's new generation of holding tank products that works even better and are also campground friendly and environmentally safe. Looks like a new #1 is taking over. For more information, visit thetford.com.
Today's Rollin' on TV Quick Stop, Calaveras Big Trees State Park. The scenic splendor here is incredible. Giant redwood and sequoia trees, wonderful hiking trails throughout the park, a great campground. It's a nice place to spend some time. Calaveras Big Trees State Park is located just 3 miles north of Arnold, California on Highway 4. The park is a magnificent display of the largest tree species alive today. The giant sequoia, closely related to the coastal redwood, is well named because it's big and it's the largest living organism on the planet. A quiet walk among these sun-dappled glades can soothe the soul and awaken the senses to this superb part of the natural world. Time spent casually wandering here is time well spent. A full-featured visitor center is on site to answer any questions about the facility. Tourist visits started here about 1850, and the park is as popular as ever today. Well-maintained trails and boardwalks make for easy walking access. There are numerous trails of varying difficulty, including wheelchair accessible, located throughout the park. Handy trail guides are keyed to numbered posts along the way so visitors can match the guide information to trailside features. The Big Stump, for example, was once used as a dance floor during the mid-1800s. The original tree was more than 280 feet tall and the stump was close to 25 feet wide. A fun walking path leads through the center of one of the fallen giants. It's definitely cooler in here on a warm day. The park's 2 campgrounds feature 120 sites. Many are tent only, but there's also room for RVs up to 30 feet long. Plan on making reservations well ahead of a visit. For more information about Calaveras Big Trees State Park, log on to our website.
For additional information on any of the stories or products seen on this week's show, visit our website at rvingtoday.tv. Don't forget, you can also watch RVing Today on Roku, Amazon Fire, Vimeo, YouTube, or any of our station streaming services. This has been another fun production.